Wow, third time lucky, maybe, hopefully. Are you guys with me? Have you found me? Are we on? Are we live? Hello, is there anyone there? Oh dear, what a performance we're having. This is why we do Facebook, hey? Hopefully, you guys have found me again. We froze again. It was a nightmare. So, but I think we're back now. So hopefully you guys will find me, and I'm just going to keep going and persevere. But I can't be coping with this. Keep freezing all the time. It's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? Yay! What's a nightmare? What are we going to do about this, eh? What do we do? I need somebody with some technical abilities to help me out here. Because I don't know what's going on. Right, so I'm just going to tidy up my area a bit so that we can then finish this card off, and then I'm going to go on to do a little bit of ink blending with our stencil for Julie, if she's managing to stick with us, because I do understand that it's probably late now for everyone. I don't even know how long we've been persisting with this. Fresh white here with all the shenanigans of failed connections. I don't know whether it is just my internet maybe that creates less stable. I did see your suggestion, Petra. It's to offset the black behind the purple. I'll show you how it looks, because I did try it, but then you all went away. It all froze, so you didn't see it, did you? So, and I didn't think there was enough on show for it to quite work. I mean, they do look great together, but I didn't know whether it was quite enough. So it was still a bit too blending into my background that way round. So if I tried it this way round, I didn't know if there was enough black showing for it to stand out. I think I need it to be a little bit smaller for it to really work. And I think that black is too beautiful to cover up. It does kind of have a kind of a cartoony type effect, though, I think, when you do it. I quite like it. So we're going to cut this down now a little bit, and I think maybe some of my paper might be a little bit wet, but let's cut this down, and then I'm going to, I'm wondering whether a bit of craft foam just at the same size might be easier than trying to put lots of foam pads on. What do you think? So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit off each edge and try my best to make sure that I'm keeping my edges straight. I do have a tendency, as you know, I do like things a bit on the wonk. Yeah, see, it's amazing really that I am in charge of design, given my loathing of measuring. Okay, so I've trimmed that down a little bit. Now, have I got some of the A2 card blanks? What size is that one? That one looks like an A6, not an A2. Let's have a look. Oh no, I think that might be an A2. It surely is. Boom, look at that. Like she planned it. So, have we snipped enough? Thanks for showing again then. No problem, Petra. I really liked it. I really did like the suggestion. Definitely a great suggestion. So I might just take a tiny bit more off the top here. Just a tiny little whisker. Jasmine says that you're hopeless at straight edges too. Well, I'm glad it's not just me. I think we all are a bit like that, aren't we? To be honest. Now I never tried cutting foam with the trimmer. What do you reckon? Do you reckon it'll cut foam? Will it cut foam? Should we try it? What's the worst that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? Break my trimmer? I think I would. Might dull my blade. Whatever. I'm going to cut it ever so slightly smaller. Ooh, like butter, as Laura Fedora would say. Beautiful action there. Beautiful. So we'll just that one there. Make sure that's reasonably straight. Oh, I love how that cuts so easily. Beautiful. So I'm hoping that this might mean then that it sticks together a little bit better. And you can see now that actually this has straightened up really quite nicely. So there is only one way to find out, Alison, and this is why we are in full-on experimentation mode this evening. We are trying things out. Now, I was going to use some foam tape to attach this to here because I wanted to make sure it was fully straight. But it does seem to have warpedness seems to, is that a word? Seems to have straightened itself out. So I'm not going to bother. I'm going to use some glue. I'm just going to chuck some of this on here. Obviously you could use tape runner. I always just use my liquid glue. I just find it's easier for me to position things because look, I don't always get them right. I'm always in a bit of a rush, so that I can have a little bit of wiggle room and make sure that I've got that on nice and straight. And then any areas that are overhanging where I've perhaps not lined it, not measured it quite so well, I can just trim that off. So lovely. And that's going to give us a nice little bit of depth there, but you're not going to see the foam tape, and I really like that. So I do have a little bit overhanging here where I've just not trimmed it as well. So I can just snip that bit off. And obviously this is going to take a little bit more time to dry because of the liquid glue. So again, if you're wanting it to dry a little bit more quickly, then using your tape runner is going to give you a faster adhesion. So let's apply some glue on the other side. And because I'm using a really fine tip applicator, I'm not too worried that I'm going to get too much on the back there. So just be careful that you don't go too mad. You don't want to overload it with glue either. Okay, so that's again giving me a nice little bit of squidge time. To attach my sentiment, again, I think we might do a little bit of dimension, but I'm going to attach this to the glitter card with my liquid glue here. Sure, I heard a little bang outside then that might have been my cat poking her nose in. I don't know if it's raining again outside. Oh, you missed. What did you miss, Alison? Sorry. Did you miss me cutting? Like butter. Cool. Okay. So, oh, I love this sentiment so much. And against this background, it looks so cool. So I'm just going to have to, let me see if I've got a nice, I'll just put my acrylic block on the top of there. That should help add a little bit of weight to it, just so that it allows that glue to take and stick. The Cosmic Shimmer Glue is very, very good. It does stick to most things, I find. It just, some things obviously need a little bit more encouragement. So let's get some foam pads on the back of this one. Now I could have done the same thing as I've done with the background. Actually, I could have cut that outer piece from some foam as well, and then that would all be black. Shall we try? Shall we do that while we're messing about with stuff? While we're messing around and just messing about and just having a play. So I have found, oh, that's just a bit too small. I have found that my Gemini, I don't know if you remember some time ago, you may not have been watching at the time, but obviously, you know, you guys have got lives. But I did try cutting with my dies with my snap machine, and it didn't work, and I was so disappointed. The Gemini, not a problem, not a single issue. Now I'm using my snap plates in my Gemini, so let's see. Pop you on mute. I'm back. So what I keep forgetting to do is give them a proper good shove. And so I'm sat there listening to it whirring away, and it's not doing anything. So that's why it took a little bit longer. But you can see that that has cut perfectly. Not a single problem with the Gemini. So if you are, you know, struggling with that with your other machines, then I would definitely recommend the Gemini for cutting your foam, because I had no joy whatsoever with the snap machine on its own. Alison said that she was missed alive. So you've not really, well, you obviously you've missed bits, but we kept having to stop and start because we're doing it through a different platform to what we normally do, and so it's a bit of an experiment. And I'm still going to do some more bits because I'm home alone. Aunt is working nights tonight, and I'm in a crafty mood. I wanted to just play, do some Halloween themed cards with bits that I haven't had a chance to play with yet, because I've been preparing obviously for Create and Craft and so on. So I didn't get to play with any of this stuff. And I really wanted to, because I'm absolutely loving these Halloween themed cards. So I've been inspired by a few people on Instagram, by some of the colours, some of the techniques, and some of the bits that they've done. So, you know, I am using their inspiration, and I apologise if I can't remember who the inspiration was from, but yeah, there's been so many great ideas out there, and the colours, I just love the Halloween colours so much. So I just wanted to play. So we're just having a bit of a play, and then yeah, when I'm ready for a brew, we might call it a night. So, what have we got? Mine sticks to me mostly. What's that about, Alison? Sorry. Jasmine says that for her straight edges, she uses a rectangle dies as panels, which is the best thing to do, which is why I'm trying to do a lot more nesting type dies, because that helps me. And that's why I always try and do a sentiment die of some sort, because again, I can't cut my sentiments out to save my life. So a lot of it's quite, I'm doing it for myself really, because I'm rubbish. Alison Chelsea says, my big shot is good for foam and double-sided sticky foam. I stick my critters to it first, then send them through. What a good idea. Oh, your glue sticks to you mostly. Yeah, true. Just having a little glug there. Apologies if that was a bit nice. So, that's card number 1 done, and I absolutely love that. I think the sentiment is just, it's so cool. And then those little bats and little pumpkins in the background on that colour, I just love that. So that's our first card done. Yay! Card number 1 done. Hope you like that one. So again, from an ink blending point of view, if you're practicing your ink blending, it's just an easy bit of an ombre effect, that one, to try and practice, get your technique sorted for you there. That's a good one to try. So we're going to do, let me move some nonsense. We're going to use the Spooktacular stencil now, I think, aren't we? That was the plan. Let me just move my Spooktacular stamps. We may use those on this, but I think what I've seen is actually using these, but then pussycutting them. So again, I'm totally just looking at an idea that I've seen someone else do, and I couldn't tell you again. I don't know who's done this, so I am casing their idea 100% here. But sometimes you have to do that, don't you? Because that, I just, like I say, I just wanted to have a little bit of a play. Now, I think our circle die is a little bit too large for that one, which is a shame, because I was thinking I might be able to cut that one out. Let me see, have I got any other circles? Might fit it. We got a scallop circle there. I don't think I want a scallop circle. We've got circles there, but they're too small. So the circles here, sorry, I'm just talking to myself, that are a part of the say cheese are a little bit smaller than that, but they could still make a really nice moon, couldn't they? Because I don't fancy trying to pussycut that. Pussycutting circles is not a thing. I have no patience to pussycut, so if stamps don't have a coordinating die, yeah, then they don't happen. Love your sets that cut the sentiments too. Yeah, that I have to have that. I really do. So, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the circle bit. What's on the other? The circle bit. Oh dear. Here's what I have. Right. Okay. I do have it somewhere. So let me just go and grab it. Bear with me, I'll be back in a second. I'm back with my little bit here. So this is an idea for how to use your stencils. I've got a couple of different ideas of how to use these in different guises, but this one I thought was really nice and clean and simple, and I just really liked the way that it looked. Again, it's using the same colours that we've used, which I'm really big fan of for Halloween. And we're going to use a masking stencil as well with it. So I'm just trying to decide, do I want to use the big one or do I want to use the little one? Where's my little rectangle so that I can see which size I want? So we're now at the point where I've got that many stencils that I can't find anything. Here we go. The small might actually be a good size. Good size background here. So this is going to be the frame of our scene, and the idea being that we have a little bit of the moon in the background, or even behind maybe behind, like that would be quite cool. That could work, couldn't it? And then maybe some of our maybe have one of our little bats in the background would be quite cool as well. Right, so yeah, let's try this. Let's give it a try. Okay. So I need my card base again. Bear with. And I think we're going to use some slightly darker oranges for our sky. So that's my card base. And I think we might have to use crackling campfire. So let's have a look what we got going on here. So I'm going to stencil straight onto my background because this is really beautiful cardstock. And again, this is one that we will be stocking very soon in this size. So look out for that. So I'm just going to pop this onto here. And we're going to go a little bit darker at the bottom and then work up to a lighter and brighter orange. And I also want to mask off the bit of moon. So if our little house is going to be sitting there, then I want our moon. I think I want a moon about there. Now, what you could do here, if you wanted, was use maybe a little bit of pixie spray, which I do have. But I'm going to be a bit naughty and just try and be a bit careful with it because I'm a bit of an impatient person, I think. So let's go back to our nice orange brush, and I am conscious that this bit here, I don't want it to get any ink on it, so I'm just going to get again another little bit of scratch paper, just pop that there, just because I'm so messy and so clumsy right now, as you've experienced, doing things upside down and all kinds. It's very likely that it will get ruined. So I've just rubbed off the ink from last time onto my microfiber cloth. I don't really need to because I'm using the same orange, but it's just sometimes a nice practice to do that. And because I don't want to get any ink underneath here, I am going, and I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do this a little bit cat-handed, I guess. just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm starting a little bit lighter around the top here. And I'm going to just gradually build those layers up and build them up around my moon shape and into my corners without going under the stencil. And again, that's another good reason for using these brushes, because they are very good like that, very forgiving in that sense. So just holding my my masks down while I apply my ink, and I'm using kind of a rubbing technique in a circle. So I'm going to move to my second shade. In fact, I think what I might do before I do that is I might go all the way around my moon there. And just add a little bit on the bottom of there. Rub that off a little bit, but again, I'm not concerned because I'm still using shades of orange. Now this is a much darker and brighter shade. So again, you might want to proceed with caution initially and then just let that build up. Oh, I've got a little bit of like glare there from the lights into my eyes. Oh. Time for tea branded microfiber cloth. Good plan. I like your style, Alison. We did have an idea that it'd be good to sell them as a set with your brushes. So, you know, who knows? Keep those ideas coming. I do think that would be very cool. Alison, did you say that sorry, I think it was Alison Chelsea said that she was going to send your bio. Are you technical? Have you got some website knowledge that I might be able to tap into? Wax on, wax off. Yeah, very true, very true. So I'm going back into my lighter colour now, just to blend that that transition there. So again, I'm just going to hold down my masks and rub that in, and you can see now that's blended absolutely beautifully. And sometimes a little bit of excess ink that you've got on your brush, if you're going, you know, using the same colours, but in different shades, that does help you get that blend. So, and then the bottom, I want that to be my darkest shade. So this is the Crackling Campfire, which is so pretty. And I actually could be even darker still, you know, at the bottom, just to create a little bit more of a ground. So I do like that. But I think what I'm going to do, because I have got some more ink here, is I've got my aged mahogany. And this is pretty cool colour. As you know, you've seen me use this before. I'm not going to use the same brush for this though. I am going to change my brush. But I need to find the one that I might have used aged mahogany on, and I don't think I can. Aged mahogany, it's an interesting colour. It's not really brown, but it is brown. I used it recently. That's an interesting colour. Maybe I'll try that one. Maybe it's that one. Wherever possible, I try not to contaminate. Yeah, I think that's the colour. But when it goes on top of something like the crafting campfire, it just looks so, you know, just so good, so rich, and it's really, really pretty. And it's one that I never would have thought of using. But we did an experiment on a card not long ago, and it looked great. So I've been obsessed with it ever since. Alison says, no, send you my 8-year-old son. He fixes all your tech problems. Well, I need somebody to fix them, definitely. And I believe you 100% that just kids know so much more than we do, don't they? They just instinctively seem to know it in a way that we never did. So I now think that what I want to do is I want to add some of my my little bats in the background, which I'm going to use some. Did I bring my black soot? What have I done with that? Yes, so I've got a bit of black soot here. Now, I don't think I've ever used black, but I'm going to use it today, and I'm actually going to use it with one of my tiny little brushes, because we're only using a tiny bit of our stencil. Now, I have seen somebody use a stencil like this and cut out the bits that you need, which is an interesting idea. You could definitely do that if you wanted to. A little bit scary to do that. Some of these items are quite close together though, so I can understand why you might do that. And what you might want to do is, and I don't know whether I want that crossing maybe my moon. Yeah. So let's remove this bit. Oh. So now I'm confused as to whether I might want to add a little bit of colour to that, or leave it bright white. I think maybe a little bit of colour would be nice, because obviously you're going to have white behind it. So before we add our little bats, I'm going to add a little bit of colour, and I think that I either wanted to go with a grey or a yellow, and I think grey would be too dark. So let's have a look at I've got mustard seed, or maybe the dried marigold might be a nice colour. A bit orangey maybe. Squeezed lemonade could be a little bit too acidic. Mustard seed is a really nice colour. So let's have a look at these two. So many inks out. Inks everywhere. A very pale yellow or a cream. Yes. So this is why I'm thinking maybe the dried marigold might be nice. So that's the closest I've got to a cream. Antique linen's quite creamy, isn't it? Should we have a look at that? I don't think I've got the antique linen in an oxide. Except straw. Maybe that one. Antique linen. Oh, I have got that in an oxide. That's nice. Yeah, I think that one might be too bright. Let's put that one back. Some scattered straw. That one could be quite good, couldn't it? All of these inks. Right, so what I'm going to do is, before we commit to what we're going to do, I can use this little bit of scratch paper here, and we'll do a little bit of a test run. So let's have a look. We've got full of that's definitely had some dried marigold on it. And I must have got a little one somewhere with a bit of okay. So let's have a look. So antique linen is kind of a dirty kind of a cream colour. Scattered straw. Again, this cardstock is probably, this paper is not the best, but it's giving me an idea. That's a bit more yellowy. And then the dried marigold, probably a bit too orangey. Ooh, so not the dried marigold. I'm not into that. So let's use this. This is probably a bit of a better, similar card. So scattered straw, a nice yellow. Antique linen is a little bit dirtier. So that one, I'm going to go with the scattered straw, I think. Got a right little collection of inks going on now. I'm surrounded by stuff. So let's line this back up then here, so that we're not going to go over onto the rest of our. But what I can do is concentrate the majority of my colour around the outside edge and then let it fade out into nothing. The majority of the colour's right in the corner there. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I like that. I like that. I like that. Right. We happy? Good suggestion, Alison. Thank you. So now for our little bats. Let's do our little bats. So get my and then, like I say, I quite like for them to be going across the moon. And I'm just going to be really careful here not to get any ink onto the rest of my background. So using the little tiny brush is really helpful. I don't think I've used this black soot at all. So just dabbing some of that off is going to help. And I'm just going to use really light tap here because, like I say, this is quite juicy ink and a small image. So I don't want to go under the stencil. But the great thing about the oxides is that they will colour on top of each other. So even though I've got quite a dark orange underneath here, and obviously I know I'm using black, but you're still able to get that colour coverage. Add the layers on. So, right, let's move our stencil. Oh, I love that so much. That looks really cool. I'm happy with that. Happy, happy, happy. So on the example that I'd seen, and like I say, I am totally casing this because I didn't have any more brain space to be doing anything else, to be quite honest with you. So so yeah, so I am completely really just you know, casing somebody else's idea here. But they did a really pretty purple house, which I do want to do. So, but they I wanted the little windows to be white. So, thinking, right, well, how do I do that? How am I going to do that? Well, first of all, I need some cardstock to put my little house onto, which would be a start, wouldn't it? So let me have a look at some of my scraps here of cards. We can pop this, well, we can actually reveal this now because I'm not going to be doing any more stenciling with the mask. So let's remove the mask. And how good is that? And the thing that I should mention, if you've not seen the masking stencils before, they all have an etched line in them, which lines up with your card base, which means that you will get it perfectly placed in the center of either an A2 card or an A6 size card, depending on which one you're using. So, so that's really helpful. It means that you get it right in the middle, which we've done here. So that's our background. Whee! Cute. Right, so now to move on to doing the rest of the card. And we're going to have a sentiment on the bottom of there as well. So I'm going to, on the card, I'm going to use this background bit, and we're going to use some of this wonderful wilted violet again because we're loving this. This lovely bright purple. And I'm going to just go through my stencil. And again, you could take this down, and I may just take down this edge here. Feels like it's trying to bounce around on me a bit. And I'm going to smush in my ink. Another thing, if you're struggling with a bit of inspiration like I was tonight, because like I say, my brain's fried, pickled and fried, you could look at card sketches. I don't know if any of you guys use card sketches at all, but they can be a really good jumping off point. Or it could just be a colour scheme that you've seen, or something like that might just give you that little bit of a bit of inspiration to get you going. So I'm surrounded by all these inks, and I don't have the one that I want because I want to darken this up a little bit now. So I'm going to use some Dusty Concord. My Dusty Concord is actually a distress ink rather than oxide. But that's okay. They will still work together. And I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to just rub off a little bit, and then at the bottom here is where I'm going to add some of that darker. I definitely need to try and get some of that in an oxide. Okay, so now this might have been a good idea to use Petra's idea actually beforehand, and maybe do our heat embossing first. But for lining things up, I think that this could possibly be the way to go about it. So we are obviously, we need to make sure that this is dry. So I'm going to remove this first. Ooh. I don't know quite how easily the yellow would go over the top of the purple, and I'm inclined to try it just for the purposes of, do we do that or do we heat emboss? So let's just do a little experiment. Here, and I'm just going to add a nice thick layer of the purple, because I know that our distress oxide inks can layer up, but just how well they layer up when you've got quite dark things. You know, let's find out. And I'm not going to use the scattered straw because that was very thick. But maybe the mustard or maybe a little bit orange shade. So let's try the mustard seed. Just for an experiment. So again, we're just having an experiment. Sorry, what am I adding to your list? Amy Gold says the masking stencils are a definite must. So yeah, it's the masking stencils that we're adding to your list. So let's try adding some mustard seed over this purple and see what happens. I think it might just turn a little bit brown. But is that okay because it's a haunted house? I mean, I don't quite like that. It is a haunted house, isn't it? And does that match with our background? I quite like that. What are we thinking, guys? Or do we want maybe an orange? An orange? Shall we try? Oh God, I've got so many inks. What about half pumpkin, maybe? Like too bright? Or is the right persimmon too? Yeah, the right persimmon's too dark. Let's try this one. Oh, I love a bit of experimenting. We're having a rare old time. Let's try the carved pumpkin here. Let's see what that looks like. Again, it could just go brown or it could just look really cool. Oh, they go over really quite nicely. I really like that. So I think the yellow. I'm going to try the yellow. And, you know, what's the worst that could happen? My thoughts on it. I'll just do it again if I don't like it. So I'm just going to give that a good rub because we've used quite a lot of ink on that one. Pop that to one side. I'm going to pile up all of my inks that I've now got a nice array of. And I'm going to just clean off my stencil because we're going to go with the yellow, I think. Yeah, I really like this idea. I was going to go with the white, but no, I think I'm going to go with this. Can't reach. Need a little bit of kitchen roll here to dry off my stencil. I don't want it to be wet. So yellow, 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 yellow. Yes, I'm in agreement. We will go with the yellow. So get my house the right way around. Be a good start. And if we lay this over the top of the house, and then I am just going to use a little bit of tape to do that. And again, whether I use maybe a smaller brush to get into these areas might be a good idea, because we don't want to. I want to get plenty of colour down, but I don't want to go over my edges. I want a nice white border. I'm sure that I've used some yellow on one of these guys. Yeah, so I have a yellow one already. So, and they do actually, the smaller brushes, if you do use them, you will notice they do seem to pick up quite a lot of colour. See, that's quite a lot of colour that's gone on there. You're almost painting it on, which when you wanted to get a good amount of coverage, like we do here, that actually works really quite well. And you see where it might have just coloured my my brush a little bit with the purple. I've just tapped some of that off. Make sure that the yellow that's coming off my brush is a nice clean shade. And again, I'm using that tapping motion just so that I'm not sweeping anything under the edges. Really cool. I think that's got a really nice coverage colour there. Right. Yay. And again, the same thing. If you just use your microfiber cloth just to wipe that off, they will get full of ink a little bit quicker because depending on how often you use them, of course, because they're smaller. So you may just want to run them under the tap. But don't wash them too often because you don't want them to loosen. The bristles are less dense because they're smaller. So let's try and get this up here. So I've got all my. I don't want to put my inky fingers on it. And get some of this. Lots of washi tape stuff everywhere. I'm get rid of some of those. Stick to anything anymore apart from me. Do you guys have the same problem that I have, where I end up walking around with bits of washi tape stuck to the sleeve of my jumper or something? Because that happens to me a lot. Or I have it stuck to my slipper, stuck to my shoe, and I traipse it around the house. Yay! That looks very cool. I like it a lot. Okay, there's my little bit of that. Excellent. Okay. Sorry. Amy, neither my bank nor or my postie like me very much at the moment. Too much craft shopping. Well, your posties keep him in a job. Alison, I've been like that since the first lockdown started. Absolutely. That's Laura Ann. Well, they make me go. Leanne says, well, they made me go back out to work in school instead of the house. Must resist more shopping, says Alison, and add it to the Christmas list. And you had loads on you yesterday when you went and got Oscar from school. That's really funny. Alison Green says, I end up with washi tape all over the backs of your hands. Yeah, I'm horrendous for it. It's funny, it's everywhere. Right, so I like our little house. So I'm just going to snip our house out here. Oh, I think I've had a message from Ant. Bless him, he's working. I wonder if he's been out heroing. Ant, if you're online and you're able to see that Time for Tea is live on YouTube, then send me a message and let me know that you've been heroing. So we're going to do, I'm going to do these. Now, my question is, do I have them going behind my house in the background there? Oh, I've just scraped my finger over that. What a noob. What a sausage. I'm just going to go back over that and try and blend my little scrapage out. So just be aware of that, guys. Don't put your finger right in the middle of what you've just done. What a silly person. So yeah, that would be really cool. But I might do one of these on foam tape. So I'm going to use my black again. Where did I put my black suit? Where did my black suit go? Have I moved it? There she is. Look. Surrounded by ink. So I hope this is helping. Was it Julie or Jasmine? I apologise. I can't remember who had started doing some ink blending with the stencil, and then wasn't quite sure what to do next. So got a bit more of an area here, so I can do a little bit more of a circular motion rather than just the dabbing. But I am just doing that because I'm impatient. So you could just, you know, if you were going to take a bit more. And I'm also going to do these two as well. I wasn't going to, but then I thought I might do. This one is actually overlapping my yellow area, so I might not use that one. And I do like how creamy these look, the Distress Oxides ones. You know, when they dry back, they just look like velvet. So cool. Alison says there's no way of doing any sneaky crafting. And Lauren gets the back of foam pads everywhere. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I end up with those stuck to me everywhere as well. Absolutely. Oh, I don't know where to put that. That was my way. Right, so let's move this stencil out of the way. And I'm going to take some smaller scissors. I mean, I suppose, like I say, I'm a very impatient crafter and a very, very lazy in that my work area is always a little bit. I use it for everything. So I know you guys are far more disciplined than me, and will be making sure that you're using different surfaces for different activities. So obviously I'm using this one mat to do literally everything. I'm going to say mat. And that's not always the best because obviously it's got messy, it's got dirty, it's got inks on it, it's got glues on it. It's so it's not in the most pristine condition anymore. But it's a great craft mat. This is an